Learning new things is hard, and nobody who wants to stay comfortable in their life, they pick up a new thing just because it is going to be more difficult for them, it is going to throw them out of their comfort zone. They have to put a lot of mind, efforts, money inside doing something new, learning something new. And if you talk about foreign languages or losing weight or, I don't know, going through your studies and finishing the studies and so on, there are going to be many moments where you're going to just simply see a plateau, where things wouldn't really make sense. I know that last year we decided to start teaching you German. So I built the fast German courses together with Alina so that we have the most affordable courses for you in German so that you're able to sit at home, learn at your own pace, and not pay crazy amounts of money to get your exam preparation done, to go through a specific level and so on. And the courses have been pretty successful. But I decided this year that I myself has forgotten the pain of learning a new language, right? Because I learned German back in 2016. I'm fluent in German. You can watch my German channel where I have my German videos up regarding business and finance. So all of that is great, not a problem at all. But then I decided that, okay, it is time to take up a new challenge. So what did we do? We decided, all right, we have been running around in Germany for quite a while. We spent almost 3 months going around in Germany, different places. We visited 4 major amusement parks. We visited the Porsche Hockenheimring Center. So this is the experience center where you are having one ring and you can take a 911, you can take a GT3 RS and so on, and you can go around in loops there, and you have an instructor and you run behind him. So that was the craziest experience I had. So we did so many different things. Dopamine level was really maximum, full on high. So I decided, but that's not really a great way to live life, if you're not having any kind of further challenges. So Alina came up with the idea that let's go to Thailand, there's this camp, and we can go there, we can learn boxing and we can lose some weight. So that was the plan so far. But when we came here, I was like, this doesn't really, it's not enough. There has to be something more. So to put life on the God mode, hard difficulty, I decided that I'm going to start learning Russian. And it has been now almost 3 weeks that I'm learning Russian, and I'm taking online classes because I don't really have the time to now work on my own, and I'm studying sometimes from a textbook that I have. So I'm using the same things that I've been telling you previously, with the addition that I'm able to spend a lot of money on online classes so that the process is essentially faster. If you're doing that for German, of course you have to keep in mind that Germans generally charge more money. The reason is that you're having a very few number of German teachers, and you have massive number of people who want to learn German. Whereas on the other hand, for Russia, you have massive number of native speakers, and you have rather very little people who want to learn Russian. So for me, the prices are super affordable. You can find somebody for 8 euros, 9 euros, 10 euros per hour. But when you see the same thing for good tutors in German, you will see the prices of upwards of 20 euros, 25 euros, 30 euros. I saw one lady who was actually having very good reviews for 36 euros, and you can see it on different platforms. So I started learning Russian. Now, I see that there are stages. So when you start out, there's going to be a small peak where you are, it's not so difficult. And there's going to be a valley. It's yeah, nothing makes sense anymore. And this is the exact same feeling that when I think about this, about learning Russian, I felt the exact same thing when I was learning German back in 2016. And I can tell you this now from my experience that when I was learning German back in 2016, nobody could have told me that there would be a day where I would be able to understand all the German videos just fine. I wouldn't have any kind of problem in listening to news. I wouldn't have any kind of problem in reading financial news. I wouldn't have any kind of issues conversing with people and so on. Nobody could have told me that, and I would have believed it, because yeah, I would have said on the face, yeah, sure, bring it on. Or I hope that happens, but deep inside you never really feel sure. You never really feel you will get to that level of fluency, and this is such a big hindrance when you're learning a language. But you have to know that this is completely normal. I mean, we are learning something completely new. We are going to speak things in a completely different way. And unless you get to that stage where you are fluent, you will constantly feel this level of insecurity. And the only thing that you have to do is you have to manage it. You have to know that throughout your journey, whatever you're doing, there's going to be peaks, there are going to be valleys, and there are going to be plateaus, where you are putting effort every single day, but the line just stays straight. And I think I can talk about my weight loss right now. We have been in the last 2 days we are doing the exact same thing. Weight is absolutely constant, whereas it has been dropping previously. So the same with Russian right now. I think for the last 3-4 classes, I was I kind of understood the most things I could, and now I'm putting a lot more effort inside every single class, but the understanding is still a little bit stable. But I also know from my previous experience of learning a language that this is again just a plateau. This is going to change once you know enough things, and there's going to be a moment where everything makes just a click. The click happens, everything starts making sense to you, or everything starts making more sense to you, and you're more comfortable with different kind of sentences, different kind of phrases, different kind of dialogues, right? So again, that's very, very important for you to remember right now, because like I said, learning anything new is hard. And I don't know who convinced you to learn a new language. Maybe you looked at your situation and decided the way things are going right now, or like the surroundings I'm in, this is not going to be something which is going to offer me the best opportunities. And that's why most people decide to learn a new language, or they want to speak to somebody, or like to speak to the people in a specific culture, in a specific country, and so on. So these are the main reasons, right? And for many of you who want to go to Germany, you're learning German so that you can have better job opportunities and so on. This is going to take time. Look, even the course that we designed, the basics you can like easily go through in 14 days to 1 month, depending on how much time you put inside, right? 14 days, like you're putting like 10 to 12 hours a day, every single day, or 8 hours, like with full efficiency. Or afterwards, if you are not having so much time, for example, I don't have so much time right now, I only have like 2 or 3 hours a day. So then the process gets a little bit extended, but you still cover through that. It still takes a little bit time. It just depends on how much time you're giving it in a day. And then again, the same phenomenon of peaks and valleys and then plateaus. Know that when you're at a plateau or when you're in the valley, you feel like, oh my God, like why am I choosing this? Why am I choosing to learn German? Why am I choosing to like put myself through this? Is the reward going to be worth it, right? And I can tell you from my experience, the reward is going to be 100% worth it, because I don't want you to end up with one of those like foreigners who come to Germany. I know like so many Indians essentially, like they come to Germany, they still make their vlogs in Hindi and so on. They fail to connect with the local culture. They constantly complain about the German culture and the bureaucracy and things like that. And I just think to myself, like, you know, if that's the problem, like you don't need to be here at all. If you're moving to a specific country, you want to enjoy the country, you want to integrate into the culture, you want to see how the people are, you want to see how things work there and so on. If you still stay in your own bubble, because you're constantly speaking English, you're constantly speaking Hindi, like that is something you were doing in your own home country too. So it doesn't really make a difference. It doesn't really make sense for you to go to a new country, spend so much money, put so much effort inside, and then still stay in the same bubble. Once you learn a foreign language, you can come out of that bubble, you can explore more things, you can explore a completely new culture. And if something happens, for example, for me, like I could like find Alina, and then everything just like clicked together because I was able to speak to her family and the barriers were not so strong. So Alina is one of those person where she said, like, you know, for us to get married, like our families also had to like kind of, I had to be understood by your family and you had to be understood by my family, so that everybody feels comfortable. So you also find people like that, and like you never know what kind of directions these things lead in, right? But the only thing that you should remember is whatever effort you're putting inside. I think that's something my father said, like no matter what kind of effort you put inside, like that's never going to go to waste. Any effort you put inside right now, it's not going to go to waste, right? You just simply have to be consistent with it. Plateaus come, recognize it, and move ahead. The same I'm feeling right now with my Russian and my weight loss, and I know the same I was feeling back then in 2016 with my German learning, and I know many of you must be feeling the same right now, so you needed to hear that. If you have any kind of questions, suggestions, whatever, you can leave them in the comment section below, and I can address them in tomorrow's video. I'll see you soon.